Hi everyone, McBeard here, back with a video after a long hiatus. I have been away for a while, did a little bit of traveling to Poland, did the Gwent Open. Maybe you saw it. It was a huge success. We really enjoyed doing that cast live from the Gwent Tavern, and congratulations to Shaggy for being the first Gwent Open champion. We'll be seeing a lot from him for sure. And then I had a week off as well. Spent some time in Germany. It was great. It was really great. I did some vlogs. You can check them out in my previous videos, but the internet wasn't that great there, so it became very hard for me to upload videos. But I'm back. I'm back home. I've been playing a lot of Gwent, and I have a great deck for you to try out if you are climbing right now. And it's worth talking about because I also wanted to cover a lot of the new cards in the game, and I feel like I can get a 2-for-1 here. A great climbing deck with a faction that I believe has improved greatly in the new patch, which is Northern Realms. And you know, I get to talk about a lot of my favorite cards right now, but we'll get right into it. This is a guide that I wrote while I was in Germany, and actually made front page of GwentDB for a whole week. Thanks everybody who looked, voted, and commented on the deck. Seems like you guys really enjoyed it. This is Avalanche Northern Realms, and let's take a look at it right now. Alright folks, this is Avalanche Northern Realms. This is the current version of it right now. I've been playing around with some couple spots that I feel are flexible. But let's start off talking about the new card. The new card that really kind of makes this deck shine and allows a layer of pressure that didn't exist really before. And that's the Temerian Drummer. Banging that drum. So Temerian Drummer in a vacuum is a decent card. I'll let you finish. There we go. Temerian Drummer in a vacuum is a pretty good card. It's not too dissimilar from the Reinforced Trebuchet, especially now that the Reinforced Trebuchet is also 7 strength. But the Temerian Drummer is a 7 strength card that gives you passive point generation. And that's the whole goal of the deck that we're going to be looking at. So Temerian Drummer, passive point generation generally is very strong. We've seen it a lot in previous metas, but mostly in the form of weather, as weather is passive point generation in that it is the degeneration of your opponent's board. It requires a very specific answer, and it allows you to pressure and stay ahead while playing what would be considered maybe lower tempo cards. When I've been playing this deck on stream, some people have asked me, why am I playing 7-point bronzes when this patch has access to bronze cards that can easily reach double digits, sometimes in the high double digits. So the idea is that you play cards like Temerian Drummer, and over the course of the round, generates a lot of value for you. So the Temerian Drummer is but one of these cards. All of these cards, really, I mean, the core of this set is really the Temerian Drummer, the Redanian Knight Elect, which, when positioned properly, generates 2 passive points per turn. You know, this card hasn't really changed except for the base level. This card hasn't really changed. Generally, it still works in the same way. You want to keep the armor on it, and that's one of the reasons why I am playing with Thunderbolt Potion, which in the new patch now applies armor, much like the old Blizzard Potion did. It's kind of been bundled together in the Thunderbolt Potion. It is a little bit worse than it was from a sheer stats perspective, but because this deck is easily able to put 3 units together, the Thunderbolt Potion almost always has a home. It's very rare that you don't get full value from this card. So the Redanian Knight Elect, being able to layer that armor back on, very important to make sure that you keep generating those passive points. The Reinforced Trebuchet, as I mentioned earlier, almost the same as the Temerian Drummer, except that it's an offensive card. Most importantly, it actually goes through armor once again. We've seen it in a previous form where it did not, but because it goes through armor, it actually always gets you the value, even in a situation where your opponent might be teching against weather. Also, the mirror right now, it's really important because there's a lot of Northern Realms out there. Northern Realms has a lot of different deck permutations that are working really well. You have machines, you have some of the higher card count full test decks. Henselt has Kadwini Siege support decks as well, with like Battering Ram and stuff like that. But most importantly, a lot of people are playing Trololo and Stennis. So Stennis is probably one of my favorite cards in the new patch. He has been completely reworked in that he functions very similar to some of the older cards in the closed beta. Cards like King of Beggars and Priscilla. Cards that would pull cards off the top of your deck. Stennis pulls any unit off the top of your deck. Now that's okay, right? It's just a unit off the top of your deck, +3 for Stennis, +5 for Stennis's armor, +5 armor for the target that Stennis pulls. That's all pretty good, but it gets even better. I don't want to really get ahead of myself here, but I think it's time to talk about Stennis here. This deck is really about making the best use of Stennis in every possible round. Shawnee resurrects Stennis with 10 armor, plus the armor that he provides. And John Natalis can pull Stennis with reinforcement or marching orders, which you can see at the bottom there. Those are 2 cards that can pull Stennis out. Stennis is the lowest card in the deck, so marching orders will always pull Stennis. So having marching orders on hand from Natalis, having marching orders in your hand from the start, having Stennis in your hand from the start, or having reinforcement in your hand from the start ensures that you can always play Stennis in round 1. That's really important. On top of that, we have Nanika, who can put reinforcement, marching orders, decoy, and Stennis back into the deck, which you can later use to pull Stennis out of the deck. Perhaps you get Dijkstra to make this occur, or you just have the tools on hand to make it happen anyway. But you can see that playing Stennis multiple times a game is really not that hard. It's really not that hard. And while this deck could actually end up being thinner, Dance Priscilla, there's the Easter egg for you. While this deck could actually be thinner and be more reliable, the fact that you're using Nanika to put cards back into your deck just to make Stennis pull stuff out, it actually allows you to customize what Stennis might be have a higher likelihood to pull later on. And that gets me to the Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry. Now, this card is one of the best bronzes in the game right now. Previously, this spot was held by Poor Infantry. Not as one of the best bronzes in the game, but in this deck, I was running Poor Infantry last week in the deck guide. You may have seen that. Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry generally is going to be 10 points because you're likely going to have 2 armor somewhere on the board, but there's a little bit more to that. If you pull Stennis with Shawnee, and then Stennis pulls you a Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry, I believe that is the Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry ends up at 18 points with... I did the math real quick. I should have gone with my gut. I knew it was 26, but you can have some different permutations of Shawnee. Sometimes I've seen a lot of great plays with Shawnee, but Shawnee into Stennis definitely nets you a lot of points. But if you happen to pull a Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry from Stennis, from Shawnee, it's a 26-point play, really great in a short round, round 3. But because there's so many ways to play Stennis, you don't have to play Shawnee in round 3. You can play Shawnee in round 2, especially if you have Nanika on hand and you have marching orders as well in hand. There's a lot of different combos, and it's very fluid, and the deck functions very, very well. One final note about the Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry is that since Northern Realms is so popular right now, it's actually very good in the mirror. I think that running 3 of these is not always the best decision, but I think currently it is because there's a lot of armor to grab out there in the world right now, since a lot of Northern Realms decks are playing Trollolo, which does have a lot of armor associated with it. A lot of Northern Realms decks, if not maybe every Northern Realms deck, is running Shawnee right now, which provides a lot of armor, and Stennis is definitely out there. So being able to steal your opponent's armor is very worthwhile. Just talking about some of the other cards, John Natalis is fantastic card. You'll use him to play marching orders early in the game. You'll use him to play reinforcement if you need to get Nanika. Reinforcement is generally used to pull out Nanika. Bear with me, folks. And finally, you can actually use him for decoy, which is generally used for Stennis as well, just to play Stennis as many times as possible. It's really, I can't stress this enough. Playing Stennis as many times as possible will usually put you in a great position to either pass or pull out enough units that passively generate points, so you can pass and your opponent just has a slippery hill to climb. And Priscilla finally is the flagship card that does this. Priscilla, I often will play first in round 1. She won't tick if there's nothing on the board. That's important. And she actually provides you an additional 3 points per turn for 4 turns. It's really hard to not get ahead. Winning the coin flip, playing Priscilla first, and then getting some good pulls from Stennis, some Knight Elects, and some Drummers on the board allows you to pass favorably and generate a lot of passive points. You can play Priscilla a little bit later. It's really great to see her in a long round 3 because it's really hard to get ahead when Priscilla is doing all the work for you. So when you're looking at your final score, when you're considering passing, always take into account the Drummers, the Knight Elects, the Trebuchets, and Priscilla on the board, and just kind of add that to your score and just think round over round, if my opponent can't overtake me with 1 card, how much will he need for the 2nd card after I generate all my passive points again? So that's usually how this is going to go. I think we talked about all the cards here. The main thing, decoy is almost always used for Stennis. I don't think I've ever had a situation where Decoy was dead. Sometimes I'll use it to reposition a Night Elect that's been moved or to reapply the armor effect, but that's not very common. Usually it's for Stennis, and since Stennis is almost always on the board, you can make this happen. Final card I want to talk about is Marigold's Hailstorm. The thing about Marigold's Hailstorm is that the card is A, so strong, and B, is in a meta that really supports it. As even this deck is actually susceptible to Marigold's Hailstorm because you'll find yourself putting a lot of stuff on the siege row because you always want to have 2 units that the Night Elect can trigger off of. And since you have 7 row-locked units on the siege row, you're likely going to be stacking the siege row. That's kind of just how it goes. You try to avoid it as much as you possibly can, but Marigold's Hailstorm will steal rounds for you and steal games for you. It is so strong. It is probably needing a cap, I think. I would say a cap of 3 units still keeps this card quite competitive. 5 units is still too generous, in my opinion. But as it stands right now, it is all units on a row. This card, I would imagine, if you've been playing on the ladder, you know the play rate for this card is super high, even at low ranks. Lots of decks have this card. It is super strong. So it's kind of hard not to run this card right now. It is, in my opinion, it's like the Becker's Twisted Mirror of this patch in that, well, the thing is, every deck can play this card, and every deck is playing this card. It's a 0-point coral for everybody. When you take coral away from the game, you go to the next best thing, and it's this card, and it's a silver card, and it's just easy to find a spot for it when it gets you that much value. So it's hard to say no to Marigold's Hailstorm. It's hard to have matchups where it's not very good, unlike stuff like Scorch or Geralt Igni and stuff like that are really huge swing cards with conditions. The only condition you need with Marigolds is that a row exists that has a decent amount of points on it. A lot of bronze cards are huge right now. A lot of cards, period, are huge right now. So being able to just slice that in half, rounding up, very, very good card. So this is the deck generally. You're playing your snowball units. You're generating passive points. You're finding favorable passes, and you can still perform pretty well when you're going first because generally the deck is threatening enough that your opponent might just open pass on you in round 2. You function very well in a long and short round 3 because of Shani, but also because of the units that generate passive value. That's all I got to say about it. I highly encourage you to watch my VODs on Twitch TV/McBearded. I have played this deck almost exclusively with the exception of Monday. Monday I played monster decks, but on Tuesday and Wednesday, and all the games that I played off stream before I got home, I played like a bunch, I guess, before I got home, have been played with some permutation of this deck in the spirit of generating passive points, abusing Stennis as much as possible, and passing in favorable positions. So while this is not a perfect indicator, just a moment, folks. While this is not a perfect indicator of my win rate with this deck, as I haven't been tracking stats, I am still climbing. So this is still, I'm definitely marketing this as a climbing deck. I believe that there are lots of different ways you can play Northern Realms at the top of the ladder because Northern Realms is largely regarded as one of the best factions, if not maybe actually the best faction right now. But I think that this deck, you climb very well with it because there isn't a lot of very difficult decisions to make. I'll come by that very honestly. The decisions aren't that difficult, but this isn't a perfect example, but most of my games have been played with Northern Realms over the course of this season. It's a 66-ish% win rate, which you take any day. And the win rate's pretty good. I mean, I'm still getting up there. I'm almost, I'm almost at rank 17. I'm going to keep climbing. I want to get those sweet borders. They look pretty good this season. I really want those borders and icons. The frames and names. I highly encourage you to try the deck. Once again, you can check my VODs at twitch.tv/McBearded if you'd like to see gameplay of this, lots of gameplay of this deck, especially yesterday's Wednesday's stream, where the deck was mostly exactly the same as, no, it was exactly the same, even with Priscilla. Priscilla was addition I made yesterday, and it actually went really well. Some people said, no, why are you putting Priscilla in the deck? Why? It's actually not bad. Give it a try. Try it before you criticize. Priscilla's pretty good. And also that sweet premium animation. Come on. We're going to see if I can find some gameplay to tack on here. Have a fantastic evening. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Take care. Yeah, I use Tracker. I just, climbing like I use Tracker like on a more competitive level. And it's just, I guess I'm getting up into decks like none of these guys aren't really bad players. Some of the players yesterday were a little weird, but none of these players. I don't think anybody's really thrown any games against me. today. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody who's watched the whole stream. I feel like all of these games have been pretty good. Pretty good. All right, let's. I'm getting a little tired. Who are we playing against? Morbrand Reveal. Reveal's pretty deadly. This hand's actually like fine, right? Whole chat net decking this now. Options, rewards, ranks. You can see. Oh yeah. Well, you think someone like me would know that, right?
Dark clouds gather over Stennis.
So many dark clouds gathering over Tamara.
I am not afraid.
I don't see any 7-strength bronzes. Nope. Raul Senpai. One more game for the road. Foxmime. I got you, buddy. Hey, you know what? This honestly, there is preference. This deck had PFI before it had Dun Banner, and it was fine. Dun Banner is good in the mirror, but we actually we broke through the Northern Realms wall. Like the first 5 or 6 games, maybe even the first 10 games. Lots of Northern Realms, and the Dun Banner were performing, right? I was stealing armor. It was really good, but now I don't know if 3 Dun Banner is enough. Or I mean, I don't think I need 3 Dun Banner. I think I need 3 Dun Banner. In Dark, they don't expect Scorch. They play around Hailstorm. Yeah. I would run Scorch in this deck, but I frequently, with the Dun Banner Heavy Cavalry, it's not great. I do desire peace, and I am preparing for war. Forcing his hand.
Again and again and again.
Just looked at the VOD. I'm at 32. Yeah, I won't get rank 15 probably. I won't get rank 15 or 17 on stream today. I might get it off stream. I might play off stream. So I'm going to make a video and I am going to play some ranked games. Boy, we're going first a lot today. Could be confirmation bias. Is there a lock target that's more worthwhile than a mango? No way he'd play 2 mangoes against me. But I think if he's going to line up Vatchier for some crazy foot soldier stuff, I think. I think Radovid Pass is probably where I'm at right now. I could risk Dijkstra, but I don't think I want to do that. I've got a lot of armor and stuff too, so it's like the Mangonel's not even super threatening. It's a little threatening. I could get lucky with the armor. People are playing like 12-strength bronzes instantly for drummers and trebs to get that into long round. Yeah, but I get long rounds. I call Vatchier and there he is. Trust me, all of my bronzes get fine value. It's exactly how I thought it was going to happen. 14 points behind. He sees everything. He sees it all. Leo Bonhart clinches this for him, right? So I'm never winning this round, right? So the further down it gets, the better, because I do have Nanika and Shani, right? So if it's a shorter round, I'm actually favored in a short round here. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do this after all.
Checkmate.
He's gonna Bonheart me with Geralt or something like that. Actually, I'm happy that Bonheart comes out because Dun Banner was susceptible to getting nailed with. Oh, he's just gonna hit 8 here. Kill that. So This is pretty good. He's gonna Hailstorm me, maybe. Probably. Has he played all of his foot soldiers yet? No, yeah, just the one, right? Sniper, what? What's happening here? He's in the chat? What's with all the kappas? What's happening here? Gladius. I'm not playing against Gladius. What's happening here? What's actually happening here? I don't know what's happening. Favorite in a short round. What's in here anyway? We bring the Treb back with Shani, but I don't think that's proper. I guess I risk drawing Nanika, and I don't mind putting, I risk drawing Nanika here, but I'm going to do it anyway. I know, buddy.
See me smiling. I'm dead serious.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
I'm not afraid.
Jeez, just barely got me ahead, too. It wasn't even that great, was it? Wasn't even that great. I knocked 3 points off myself there. It still was better, right? It's still fine. Music so loud? Nah. Is chat so mad? What is Nenika's purpose in the deck? To put Stennis back in the deck? Put marching orders back in the deck? We got it! He was looking at my Hailstorm and he thought he was in trouble. So it goes. I mean, he is in trouble. Yeah, Nanika puts Stennis back in the deck, puts marching orders back in the deck, puts reinforcement back in the deck. So then you can play Dijkstra and get all those cards. Play Shiny to resurrect Stennis, play reinforcement and marching orders to get. Ah, how interesting. If you hold on to this, this is actually pretty damn good. I think we go for it here.
Well, it's war. Severed limbs, blood, and guts.
You stand before royal majesty.
I mean, or we just pass right here. That's also a possibility because this particular combo is quite good. I'm talking about, it's a gold card though, right? I was talking about 34-point plays.
There's been a mistake. I'm no mage.
Quiet, or the commissar will hear.
That's it, though, I think. I don't know about Hailstorm. I don't think Hailstorm's going to get value here, right? Maybe touch my beard if you can get there. Or, why not Night Elect? Dry Pass, IMO, go deep? No. Now I get to play 2 cards after my Hailstorm?
Scheiß in Trey.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm up by 19 points. I'm pretty happy about it. I actually might mulligan Hailstorm. Not even sure. He'll just play around it anyway. It won't even be that good. I don't know why. I mean, I understand what the importance of dry passing in round 2 is, but with the way Stennis works here, oh, he didn't even get. He almost got it, but he didn't get it. He almost got it, but he didn't get it. See, it's okay, guys. Oh, please play off. All in every turn. Boo. I'm going to get final card. Don't worry, guys. I understand the potential of my hand here. We're all good. We're all good. No faith. Grey Boxer, you should have more faith in me. You should have more faith in me. He just played Ox, which is pretty awesome. I'm actually pitching this. Oh, yes. Grey Boxer, it's your favorite card, my friend. And he played Ox. He played his lock. I have two very lockable cards in my hand right now.
Varu?
I mean, this is a little scary, but I think we're going to be okay.
Nasty wounds, those, but you'll live.
I think we're just fine, my friends. No worries. And he's got nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
I am not afraid.
Yeah.
Again.
Voila! Didn't even need that last card. No worries, folks. Just gotta push a little bit. It's fun. It's more fun to watch. Guys, that's gonna do it for me, folks. I'll go out on that one. My dog and I are both very hungry. Thanks so much. Commander's Horn episode 50 is out for your listening pleasure. Commander'sHorn.com. Check it out. iTunes, it's there. Download it with your favorite podcasting app. Mine's Downcast personally. Thanks so much. Great day streaming. Really appreciate it. Have a great night.